Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time joining us, feel free to type in comments where you're coming from, any questions, concerns, topics you'd like to hear covered in the future. Also, first time joining, if you type the word mindful after the broadcast or recording, I'll go back, put a link. If you follow it, you'll get our free PDF weekly cheat sheets, which are bullet points of everything we cover each week, as well as a hypnotic recording I created on releasing limiting beliefs. So today we're here to talk about quick and easy ways, not that there really are all that many quick and easy ways, it can take some time, but quick and easy ways to help boost self-esteem. So one might ask, what is self-esteem? And basically self-esteem can be defined in so many different ways, but basically it's how you feel about yourself as well as your level of self-respect. So it's related and even intertwined, if you will, with self-confidence. It's not quite the same thing as self-confidence. For some folks, it can actually be too high. You can think of like egomaniacs or whatever, but more commonly, it's a little bit too low. And so in any case, self-esteem is going to be considered a spectrum. It's not a static state. It has ebbs and flows, if you will. So a person with healthy self-esteem, though, is going to have a balanced and accurate view of himself, herself, and able to recognize their own flaws without downplaying their worths, their skills, and their strengths, if you will. So what might the causes of this be? So unsupportive, uncaring, abusive parents would be a cause. Genetics, we do have a certain genetic component to this, but it still can be changed. Constant criticism, bullying, loneliness, anxiety, stressful events in childhood or even adulthood, chronic stress, traumas of any sort, really. Persistent or serious medical issues can come into play, having unrealistic goals, mood disorders, if you've experienced prejudice, discrimination, or poor treatment from others. Maybe you had poor performance in school or trouble finding and keeping work. So this is not meant to be exclusive. These are just some examples, if you will. So one might ask them, well, what are the components of self-esteem if it's so intertwined with self-confidence but not quite self-confidence? So there's going to be 5 major components of self-esteem. The first one being identity. So identity involves who you are, what you kind of believe in, your values, how you see yourself. The second one would be purpose, and that is what motivates and inspires you. If you feel that life is meaningful, if you have a life purpose kind of thing. Number 3 is competence, finding and embracing your core strengths. And then 4 is security. We all have a need to feel physically safe and secure. And number 5 is belonging, feeling like you fit in, like you're accepted, knowing that you matter, okay? And so any one of these 5 different parts of it can affect our self-esteem. So some of us might need to work on one of the components, and some of us might need to work on 2 or 3 or 4, or all 5 kind of thing. So what can we actually do? Some of the things that are a little bit useful to change this. So number 1 is going to be, and this is going to be more of a long-term kind of thing, I will admit, change negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs. So I love to use hypnosis, NLP, yoga therapy, breathwork. They're my favorites for this. Number 2 is remind yourself that feelings are not facts, okay? Intense feelings actually will pass through the body, through the system in 90 seconds if we allow ourselves to actually feel them. 3 is to watch out for all or none, black or white kind of thinking, right? This also includes like overgeneralizations, like, oh, everything always happens to me kind of thing. So you can ask yourself, is this always true in these cases? So you really want to kind of reframe that or change that. So next one, look for positives and reframe things, definitely. 5 is have a growth and learning mindset rather than a perfectionistic one. And 6, know that you are only responsible for how you feel, not how others do. Okay? 7, of course, set healthy boundaries for yourself and stick to them. And 8 is look for evidence that both supports and challenges the way you feel and the things that you do think about yourself. And then learn to graciously accept compliments and accept your own strengths. Number 10, practice positive affirmations or even mirror talk I recommend doing it incrementally so your subconscious is on board, so it's not like you're saying something to yourself that you just don't really subconsciously believe. But you can do this every morning as you're getting ready, kind of a nice way to start the morning. You definitely want to focus on your strengths. You want to practice self-compassion, practice self-forgiveness, and challenge your self-talk, particularly when that inner critic does appear, as it does for most of us. You can say things like cancel, 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 or thank you for your input, I've heard you, or you might even do some EFT or tapping. We've had other Mindful Mondays about that, so I won't go into huge detail on it. Definitely practicing mindfulness can be assistive here. Knowing and following your values is very important. And of course, as with most things, eat healthy, exercise, get adequate sleep so that you do have the mental capacity to, function in the day. Celebrate your successes. We talk about this with like the micro habits. Celebrate even the little successes. It like gives you that dopamine and endorphin rush kind of thing. Practice gratitude. It changes the brain. You can keep a gratitude journal if you like. Definitely spend time in nature, even if it's just a couple minutes. A tiny little bit of time in nature kind of can ground us so much and like open us up to different things. And then make sure you're balancing your time between work, rest, and play or fun, whatever you want to call it. Meditate or do yoga, do something, spiritual, quasi-spiritual, whatever you want to call that. My favorites, of course, are going to be to affect deep change, hypnosis, NLP, breathwork kind of things. So I hope this is useful to you. Make it a wonderful Mindful Monday, and we'll see you next week.